Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Chris.
That's Shan.
And welcome to CCTV, the non-stop pop show.
And today we are discussing the innovation of SM Entertainment's remakes. If you're wondering who we are, Shan and I have a huge range of experience in the music industry, from performing on stage to working at record labels. So we have a lot of insight into the crazy music industry, and you can now come join us on Patreon at patreon.com/cctvpops. Shout out to our amazing crew members, Lisette, Lily, and Emily. We hope you like our episode.
Yeah! So today we're going to get into the history of remakes. Music remakes, covers, or samples in the music industry are commonplace. In simpler terms, a cover is a new performance or recording by an artist other than the original performer or composer of the song. The reworking, updating, or interpretation of older songs could sometimes be for the sake of tribute and or introducing the artist to a new audience, but it could also be an artist's way of exploring their creativity and inspirations by giving a song a new life. And some of the most notable covers / remakes include I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton, remade by Whitney Houston for the Bodyguard soundtrack, and Hound Dog by Big Mama Thornton, remade by Elvis Presley. And both songs have become absolute staples for both artists, and the covers are actually more well-known than the originals, which is crazy. But that being said, the whole cover situation has come with some controversy throughout pop history.
So in K-pop, many idol groups perform covers during year-end specials and on music programs, and these covers are often given a modern production twist and are seen as just a way of showing tribute to past artists. And typically when the remake is performed, most of the idols cover a legacy artist, which is a Korean idol of yesteryear, such as Kim Sung-jae's So To Say, As I Told You being covered by BTS, or Blackpink covering So Hot by the Wonder Girls, or sometimes they actually perform the latest track by their peers.
Right.
Also. And on occasion, idols also cover Western artists, for example, like Twice covering End of Time by Beyonce, especially for KCON 2018, and the iconic Milkshake cover done by 4 Minutes.
Yes.
But very rarely does such a cover or remake actually make the group's albums. These are usually just special performances for special occasions. And so this is done throughout all of pop artists.
True.
They always tend to cover a song like in a live show or something, so
Great.
it's just normal.
Yes.
But this brings us to SM Entertainment, which is one of K-pop's biggest agencies. And this iconic company has come to be known to take risks with its sound, mixing genres, wacky concepts, and everything in between. But before we dive deeper into the company and how they use samples and covers and remakes, let's discuss what a remake actually is.
So, what is a cover? That's the question, right? So, according to the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 5th edition, a cover is a recording or a performance of a song that was previously recorded or made popular by another artist. However, there are other ways that you can cover a song without utilizing the entire musical composition, production y'all, or the lyrics. Many artists use samples, but what is a sample?
Well, according to the Collins English Dictionary, sampling is to take an extract from one song and use that extract in a brand new recording, either by looping it or layering it with new production to make some sort of derivative work. So this is very broad.
Yeah.
A very broad definition, because it could be using a line from a song, it could be using a whole section of a song. But it is important to note that there are actually two main types of sampling. So as stated in an article on medium.com, sampling is rooted in understanding the copyright associated with music. There are two distinct copyrights in each song. So there's the sound recording itself, also known as the master copyright, which is the recorded version of a song. But then there is the composition or publishing copyright, which is the underlying melody, composition, and lyrics of a song. So for example, going back to Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You, the master copyright for that song is her recorded version of the track and every element within that. The publishing copyright, however, refers to just the writers and their lyrics, composition, and melody, meaning that Whitney Houston's cover of I Will Always Love You was also technically a publishing sample and also a cover.
Right.
So they're actually, both.
Yes.
But no elements of Dolly's original recording were used in Whitney's cover. So if she had used the same instrumental or backing vocals or just some other element that was in Whitney's recording, then those elements would count as a master sample.
That's right. And another common word that is used in this world is interpolation. But what is interpolation? An interpolation is basically a short sample, taking one line or familiar melody from one song and altering it to fit the context of the new song. And this can be a master and a publishing sample, where you take the extract from the original recording. For example, EXO's Ya 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 uses a line from SWV's You're the One, repeatedly throughout the track. And an interpolation can also just be a publishing sample where the artist and or producer recreates or re-records a section from the original composition and or melody. For example, NCTU's 90s Love features a line from Passa Cavassier, which is, don't this make my people want to jump, jump. For those who know, you know. But if you don't know, now you know.
Don't this hit make my people want to jump, jump. Don't this hit make my people want to jump, jump.
And that was re-recorded by the group, but no elements were used from the original version of that track.
So, first off, I used to work at a record label, and this was a huge part of my job. There are actually people, there's a whole team dedicated to just clearing samples. So it is a common issue for sure.
Totally.
So legally, master and publishing samples are separate approvals, and depending on what the music actually uses, right? What type of cover or sample or interpolation actually happens. The artist's label will have to reach out to the appropriate teams to get approval and negotiate the licenses for the use. And I will note that there are many instances where artists have recorded songs where they were not approved.
Yeah.
I've run into that quite a few times, and it's not great. So for all those aspiring producers out there,
Oh my God, yes.
try to get some sort of permission before you put all that work in, because if you sample Michael Jackson, that estate will likely not approve it and you just wasted all your time.
Yes, and I've actually been on the end where I had to approve. I worked for a couple publishing companies here in America and also for a Korean company. And again, musical composition, the beat is different from the lyrics. You have to ask everyone and their mama permission. But yeah, so we would like to reference a common misconception amongst K-pop fans. Sorry for calling out loud, but that's usually where the discussion happens. In the world of demo recording, song placement, and how songwriters pitch their songs to other artists and their labels. For example, Girls' Generation's Run Devil Run was written by Alex James, Busby, and Kale Engstrom. Sorry about the name, dude. In 2008, American singer Kesha provided the vocals for the demo of the song, but never actually released it as her own track.
You better run, run, 'cause there's gonna be some hell to pay.
The song was pitched to SM Entertainment for Girls' Generation, and after acquiring the rights, SNSD released this K-pop classic.
You better run,
And this is not a cover, okay? And though Kesha's version has since leaked on the internet, the song was never technically hers. And Girls' Generation are actually the first act to officially release the track, okay? Not a cover. This is, hey, here's a song. Here's a demo singer. Here's the pitching.
Yes.
There's the placement.
It just happened to be a pop star that recorded the demo of that song, right?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, also, we know there are actual cases of plagiarism as well, where the legal approvals were not obtained for the master and or publishing sample rights. So for example, when rapper 6ix9ine plagiarized Island by Winner with his song Nobody, he did not reach out to Winner and YG to actually get the rights to the use. And so he released the track without crediting the group. But when fans caught wind, this rapper actually backtracked and just renamed the song Nobody Island Remix. But did he actually get his official permission? Probably not.
No. It ended up being one of those, like, this is a mixtape, not for profit,
Yeah. And we mentioned it before, but the most, notable lawsuit that happened was, or more recently, was the Robin Thicke, Pharrell Williams blurred line situation with Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, that one was...
So yeah, definitely look that up if you're curious to learn more about all the legal battles that can happen with sampling and covering.
Right.
It is a gray line because music is a creative thing, and, it's like, what is an inspiration versus a science. There's no scientific way,
Right, unless,
really
yeah.
analyze it. So if it's not the same notes, but it has the same quote unquote vibe,
Mhm. Is it derivative or not?
yeah.
Right, but also if you do want to see a little bit more about plagiarism and, you know, not proven cases in K-pop, definitely check out our SMTown Tiger episodes. They're really fun and a lot of information that you guys could, you know, talk about in the comments.
So we're going to talk about some of SM Entertainment's kind of examples, all these different things that we just talked about. There are many more than we have listed here. And like we said, it is very common in music. You know, people are constantly sampling. You know, you're inspired by what you've heard in the past.
Right.
So, you know, that's normal in all art, I think.
Yes,
right?
I think so too.
So our first example is regarding TVXQ's iconic song, MIROTIC. Because it's actually a cover.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor's Under My Skin.
Composed by the Danish producer Remake, Lucas Sikon, and Thomas Troelsen, Under My Skin is by German singer Sarah Connor from her 6th studio album, Sexy as Hell, released in 2008. The track managed to reach the top 20 in Austria and on the European Hot 100 singles chart, as well as number 4 in Germany, so it's safe to say that the track fared well before SM obtained the rights to the track. Now, for MIROTIC, it was rearranged by Yoo Young-jin and is the K-pop group's TVXQ's title track from their 4th studio album of the same name. And the song has become a K-pop staple and has been listed as one of the best boy group songs of all time by Rolling Stone, which is freaking amazing. So before this episode, you had mentioned that you never heard the demo, but you knew it was a cover.
I knew it was a cover of Sarah Connor, and I actually do like Sarah Connor. She's actually a really cool artist. And it's kind of interesting that she never really broke out of kind of Western Europe.
Yeah.
But she's a cool artist, and so it was awesome listening to it just now, but like in preparation for this.
Yeah.
Because it's cool hearing a girl sing it.
Oh my god, yes!
Yeah, it gives a different vibe.
Totally.
For sure. And it's a different power. It's like a little sassier, just with the way she's delivering it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the production's very similar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean her production is more rocky and the guitars kind of just strum throughout the whole song.
Yeah.
And then the chorus that she has ends up being the outro chorus for TVXQ.
Yes.
So I think it's really interesting how Youngjin kind of stripped away the guitar throughout the song, but then brings it back for the hook, and then we get a rap section. We get her section. Her version of the song was actually really sexy.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, you're like a devil that's like making me hot," and I'm like, "Ooh!" So they kind of kept the same, message, even though they were trying to like skate by the FCC out in Korea. They were like, "You can't say under my skin. You got to say under my sky or something."
Which makes no sense. That always annoyed me when I watched those performances.
Oh my god, yes. But I have to say the whole like, hey, that hook is it. That hook is it.
Yes.
And this isn't a comparison like which one I like better, but I have to say like chorus wise, Youngjin did his thing. I just have to say.
Yes.
I like that chorus.
I think there's something about a boy band doing this.
Yeah.
Because it is still sexy, but it's just different having a group of guys do it.
Yes.
Mixed with like the music video, the dance routine, and everything.
Yeah.
I personally, I have a bigger connection, I guess, to their version.
Right.
But yeah, I think they kill it. It's such a good song. It's such a good song, and it's such a great example of what an A&R person can do, right? So these are the people that help source songs for artists,
right?
And to kind of find this random track from Western Europe by this female artist,
right?
And then envisioning that it should be done by a Korean boy band. It's pretty brilliant, and it's great.
Yes, indeed. Which brings us to our next SM boy group, Suju. And we're going to talk about Knockout, which was originally released by a UK group called Triple Eight. And then redone with Suju, and they called it Twins.
So, Triple H were a 5-piece boy band promoted as the British equivalent of NSYNC, which they weren't.
Ooh.
I get that as like the attempted tagline, but they never really got to that level of success, like not even close. So Knockout was their debut single, released in April 2003 in the UK, and the single reached a peak position of number 8 on the UK singles chart, which is, that's okay.
Not bad.
But when Super Junior took it 2 years later in 2005, when they released it as Twins, parentheses, Knockout. And this is actually when they were still known as Super Junior, like 05.
5, yeah. No.
It was, like I mentioned, it was their debut single, and I would argue was much more popular, probably, right?
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
But yeah, so while they kept the original song's hip-hop influence, they did incorporate heavier bass elements and a quicker rap, and formed the song into more of a rap and rock piece.
Oh yeah, right.
And the promotional title of the song, Twins, was added to the song's title to mark the change in lyrics from the original song. The Korean lyrics, written again by Yoo Young-jin, speaks of inconclusive feelings regarding love and following one's destiny.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you think of these two versions?
Okay, as like a kind of sort of elf, I always say kind of sort of because I wasn't there from the beginning.
Yeah.
When I heard this song, I liked it. I was like, oh, it's Suju. Okay, it's throwback Suju. They had the visual K hair. He was staring at the camera very creepily. Just memories. So there's some nostalgia that is connected to this version of the song.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to hear that the Triple Eight version actually has those little interludes of the R&B, the already, which is crazy because already you're starting to hear SM's kind of R&B influence kind of come in there, but they were still doing the rock thing because of J-rock and J-pop. But yeah, I have to say, like in the chorus section, Triple Eight's chorus for me is better. Yeah. For sure, because the harmonies.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so much knockout. I mean, it's the same thing. But just something about their vocal production for Triple Eight's version just is more appealing to my ears.
Yes.
I guess because of that whole like 90s NSYNC inspiration. But yeah, Twins is good. It's not bad. But it's just, this actually doesn't do better like sonically for me. Than Triple Eight, but it's not bad. I think it's interesting how they added like the trademark SM rap, like that again. Yoo Young-jin knew what he wanted when he picked out the song, so it's interesting. What did you think about it? And
I mean, so I know Triple Eight.
Yeah.
If you know me at all, I know a lot about British pop music from like the early 2000s, and this was an interesting time in pop music there because actually the boy band girl group was starting to die. A lot of boy groups like Triple Eight were just kind of one of many that like never really hits. Like they had a couple top 10 hits and then it kind of died.
Right.
Because that's kind of when, just pop music in general was just changing at the time. So it's interesting that K-pop would then kind of try and take the same song a couple years later, and it just makes sense then why I then got into K-pop. Because I love British pop music. Right? But yeah, I agree. Triple Eight's version is better in this case. I often forget about Twins, actually. Out of Super Junior's discography, it's not one that stands out to me.
Right.
And yeah, I think the harmonies are better in Triple Eight's version. I think they just sell it a little better, to be honest. Yeah. It was like it's more sexy than it was like conflicty. Like
no offense to Suju, love you guys, but the sound that they ended up developing was definitely
Yes.
So debut versus debut, sorry, Triple A got it. Up next is a song that has recently come back up in a lot of conversations about covers and remakes and such, and that would be Like a Fool by Nylon Beat and S.E.S's Dreams Come True. So if you don't know, Nylon Beat was a Finnish girl group consisting of Joanna Coulson and Aaron Koivisto. There we go. Their main period of popularity was during the late 90s and early 2000s, and their debut single, produced by Finnish producer Risto Aisikainen, Like a Fool, and also the translation is fell in love with a loser. It's great. Their song actually peaked at number 8 on the Finnish charts back in 1996.
Funny how all dreams come true. Like a fool, I'm into you. The day we met, I lost my sanity.
And And in 1998, with further composition by Young Jin and group member Bada, S.E.S would release Dreams Come True, and the version that we hear from the Korean group actually maintains the production and is actually identical to the original, aside from the newly arranged rap part with that weird alien and some production flourishes.
Funny how our dreams come true. 나를 지켜줄 거야. 아껴왔던 작은 사랑도.
I think this is one of those interesting situations again, because now we have the group debuted, they had a career for quite a couple years, and then S.E.S takes it, and they're supposed to be like the not the antithesis, but they're supposed to be the opposite of Baby Box. They're supposed to be fairy-like girls. So this easy listening kind of dance pop track was absolutely perfect for them, and they sounded great. And I have to say, like with sustained notes, like that Bada would sing, maybe she sang them a lot more smoother, a lot more sweetly than the original singers.
Yes.
Because to my knowledge, they were just dancers. But I like what they did with Dreams Come True. It just sounded so smooth and sweet. And then we got that weird alien thing. But aside from
But
that.
the alien thing you remember always.
Yes.
So, you know, I think it does its job in that case. Yeah, so I had never heard Nylon Beats version until today. And yeah, it's just a little one-noted. You know, it kind of has the same vibe. Like all the girls like sound the same. Like it was like
The two girls.
I was like I can't even tell when one of the different one is singing, you know? And yeah, there just wasn't much, like, I don't know.
Dynamic,
it wasn't dynamic.
Yeah.
So yeah, S.E.S is a classic, for sure.
Yeah.
We have to mention aespa's cover, though. So aespa has recently covered it, completely redone the production with Boa's help.
Yes.
And they did an amazing job, I think, bringing it to this century while keeping kind of the same
feel. Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, same feel, same vibe as the original. I thought they did an amazing job. So kudos to Boa and all the other people involved.
Funny how our dreams come true. 나를 지켜줄 거야. 아껴왔던 작은 사랑. You make me feel so good.
But this is such a great example of a second cover, right? And it's a cover inspired by the first cover.
Right.
You know? So it's just interesting to kind of see how a song can have all these different lives.
Coverception.
All right, so our final example for this section is Hot Summer. So K-pop fans will know it to be done by FX, but Western pop fans will know it to be done by German pop group Monrose, who actually released it in 2007.
It's gonna be a hot summer, a hot summer, hot summer, a hot gonna be a.
So the song was written and produced by Danish musicians Remy Sigvart and Thomas Troelsen, which is actually the same team for Under My Skin.
Yes.
So it must be the same database somewhere, right? And the song debuted at #2 on the German charts before becoming #1. And that would actually be the second #1 for the group. And the lyrics depict all of the hot things the girls like, specifically a hot man. But FX released it in 2011 as a single from the repackaged Pinocchio album, and it is a more tame and literal approach to a hot summer, like a literal hot summer. And it's fully equipped with lyrics about sweaty foreigners and a how-to on how to enjoy the summer.
투명해져 hot summer, a hot summer, 너무 더워.
And the single debuted and peaked at #2 for the group. So it was actually a huge hit for both groups.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things where I'm starting to notice a pattern. Like, I haven't seen SM kind of dig into Western songs just yet. I'm pretty sure there's some that I couldn't find, but like, it's interesting to see where the A&Rs were listening. They're listening in Europe. They're listening to B-sides. They're listening to maybe kind of sort of hits.
Yeah.
How does this fit with our artists? With FX, they have so many songs that were already released and then artists scrapped, which is so fun. We didn't get a chance to talk about them, but definitely check out our FX album review. But yeah, I like both versions. I think with Kenzie, when she rewrote this, I think it was Kenzie or was it Yu Youngjin? Oh, either way. Kenzie, Yu Youngjin, when they're writing for SM artists, they know how to make their group sound like a full group. I mean, Amber wasn't singing at the time, so she has a rap. It must be burning because I got you Yes, Kenzie did write it. Now that I think about it, Kenzie did write it.
Yeah.
I do like what the girls did with it because at that time they were kind of like a hipster pop group where everything was like, be different, we're cool, we're very strange girls, and this was like a normal song for them.
It's their most like regular pop song for them.
Yeah, at the time. So I think it was really cool to kind of have the song, and everything's pretty much the same except for some some production flourishes here and there. And I have to say that maybe because I grew up with this version, I like it a little bit more than the Monrose version because I didn't know what it was. But Monrose's is really fun because I mean, when I think about hot summer, I think about it's hookup culture, it's hot girl summer.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about hot girl summer before it was a thing, right? So I mean, what about you? I feel like it's pretty much the same song aside for some like little wee wong sounds and extra things that Kenzie added.
Yeah.
You know, was kind of the same song.
Yeah, basically the same song.
Yeah.
I have a few thoughts on this.
Mhm.
I think first off, we should note that like back then, even in like the late or the early 2010s,
Yeah.
music was still very. It wasn't as global as it is now.
Yeah, you're right.
So it was actually very common worldwide to always kind of just take songs that are charting in other countries and then give them to some other artist in some other country, right? This happened all the time. This used to happen all the time. It doesn't happen as much now.
Oh, true.
That's how global everything is.
Right.
How easy it is to access things.
Yeah.
But so this idea of taking like another girl group for another country's song and using it for your own girl group, that's normal, right?
Yes.
And so that's just interesting because that's just like the times and how it changed.
Yeah.
Monrose, I have to give a shout out to Monrose. We've actually had a few requests for us to cover more about Monrose and their history. So let us know if you guys are still interested in that. I don't actually know too much about Monrose.
They were on Pop Stars, that's all I know.
Yeah, but I'm down to do a deep dive into them because I feel like I probably like them a lot if I had the time to do it. So yeah, just let us know.
They did their thing. Yeah.
But yeah, actually, I like Monrose's version better.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think their vocal execution is better.
Ooh.
There's just, again, more dynamic.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay.
I love Luna's voice, but I think combined with Crystal and Victoria and everyone,
Right.
it's a little soulless. You know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hot summer. You know, it's just
Oh, a hot summer.
Yeah, but-
a hot. Different than.
if it's a hot summer, would you be singing it like that?
No. And then Monroe said, it's a hot summer. You're right.
Exactly.
Point made.
And so I also feel like because FX's previous stuff was so experimental, it felt too safe.
Ooh.
And it felt like not inspired. It almost felt like we need a repackaged song. Let's just take this other girl group song from this other country. It was a hit over there. Let's just try it over here.
That is so
easy.
You know what's crazy? I used to have a beef with this song because I hate when SM gives them the recycled songs. And now my whole tune has changed, and he brought up something that really made sense. It's right. It was simple.
Yeah, we're not bringing up some of Shiny stuff because we talk about Shiny in depth in our Shiny 101. If you're interested. I mean, we have Love Like Oxygen and Juliet, right? But I feel like it fit their sound and they really made their own.
Yeah.
This doesn't really fit FX's experimental sound, so that's why it felt safe.
Ah, nice. Maybe my little 12-year-old self knew. She was not jiving with it. All right, up next we are going to talk about demos. Demos, people, the songs that get recorded for people to pitch them and then get placed. All right, so we're bringing that back. We did talk about the Run Double Run situation already, so we're just gonna hop into another SM artist, which is FX. FX's Red Light was actually written by a group, collective called Phrased Differently. And Red Light is a dynamic electro house songs with lyrics reflecting on what is important in life, and also it has a message using a red light to symbolize a warning. And when Kenzie wrote it, she made this very much cryptic. But originally, Megan Cotton of Phased Differently, Daniel Ullman, Brian Jarrett, Allison Kaplan, and Sherry St. Germain were credited with the song's music and also the lyrics. And the original lyrics were actually just like a huge back off to a thirsty dude at a club who was getting too touchy. Like, hey, it's a red light. She said, hey, wait a minute. I just came to dance, boy. Very simple. you know? And after Kenzie wrote the lyrics to Red Light, despite mixed reviews, the song debuted at #1 on 8 Korean music charts and attracted over 250,000 downloads in its first week. And the song peaked at #2 on the Gaon Weekly Digital Chart, becoming the group's 9th song to chart within the top 10. And this song also won a total of 5 Weekly Show Awards and was nominated for the 2014 K-Pop Golden Disc Awards and the record category. So even though the song was very cryptic and strange, it was one of those songs when I first heard it, I thought, whoa, what is this?
Yes, I think this is a great example of how you can take a demo that is just kind of okay.
Yes.
Lyrics are just kind of okay. And then really turning it into a unique song that really fits the group that you're giving it to. Because Red Light, yo, it's so good.
Yeah.
The song itself is amazing. All the girls sound great.
Yeah.
The video's great.
Right, Amber sang for the first time, so everyone was like, shook up, you know? Yeah, it was interesting because listening to the demo, I was like, oh my god, what's going on with the chorus? The melody of the chorus is different because of that caterpillar, which they got banned for saying because you cannot mention brands out there, which is, I get it, but no kid is going to sit there and buy a freaking bulldozer, but you know. But yeah, I think they really delivered really well. And that's a testament back to Yu Young-jin and Kenzie because they knew, SM knows what they want to sound like, and those two know how to write for the artist.
Yes, how to change a song.
Yeah.
Take a demo of a song. Which I guess you could also look at a demo just as like a rough version, a draft of a song. And yeah, they're able to then take it, reinterpret it for the artist that they're giving it to. And this is a great example of that.
Totally. Absolutely.
The next example is Tell Me Your Wish, Genie by Girls' Generation. So this is actually their first track done with Western composers and producers too, so that's awesome.
Yes.
And this was later encouraged throughout kind of all their music moving forward, actually. So it was written in Korean by Yu Young-jin and produced by D-Sign Music and Fridolin Nordso. And the song was actually originally composed in English as I Just Wanna Dance by Nathalie Makoma. Thematically, Genie fits in with Girls' Generation's concept of love and relationships, and it was a bit more sleek than the group's previous releases. And the original singer, Nathalie Makoma, is a Congolese-Dutch singer-songwriter who was signed to Sony BMG when she released her version.
Yeah, so from what I found when I was digging on the internet, Youngjin had written something that scrapped the idea because it was for an undisclosed artist. So Natalie's actually is she the egg in the situation? Because she released it a year after. But it's so interesting to hear.
First, though,
technically, right.
Even though she released it later, she did release it first.
Oh, come on now, chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
But yeah, so her version was released after, which is kind of like, dang. But when you listen to it, it has more of like an EDM kind of sound. There's little pew, 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 lasers, like there's an actual DJ. And when the dance break does come in, it kind of allows for that DJ to put it back on when the song does come out, which is interesting because random English in SM songs have become commonplace. It's almost like a topic of ridicule at points too, because it's almost like
doesn't always make sense,
right? I mean, you're talking about someone in my bois, and all of a sudden DJ put it back on. So the dance break in Natalie's version is a lot more Lady Gaga, Red One, ED.
Lasers.
There's lasers, right?
DJ, put it back on.
But SNSD, they stripped away a lot of the electronic sounds, which made it more, again, sound really sleek. And I do like their version
Yeah, it's a little more elegant.
Yes.
I'd say Nathalie's is more, like Lady Gaga's a great example, like Just Dance, that kind of more intense dance club song.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's actually really good. I love the way she sings it. Actually.
Yeah.
It's just a great voice. And yeah, SNSD version, it's just a little more a little more laid back. I would say, a little sexier, a little.
Yes.
DJ, put it back on.
And I like both, actually. I like both
me too.
elements of it. There are elements in Nathalie's that I think I wish actually were in Girls' Generation. Maybe not
the link.
Maybe not the pew. But I don't know.
You know what? Honestly, I think Girl Generation, what they ended up doing it with Young Jin, when he added that extra, that outro for Taeyong, that I was like, girl, she took it to a whole nother level. So the song ended up being a lot more like, it kept building.
Yes.
You know? So I like both for sure. They definitely have a different place in my heart. Like one's like, oh, shake my boobies at the club, you know. And then the other one's more like, tell me your wish, baby, you know. So so different feels, but love them both. Up next is probably is it a fishy section? I don't want to call it fishy, but it's a little grayish area here. These are the remakes and interpolations with the SM sound. The bass slides, the R&B breakdowns, and all the things that make up the SMP, the SM production, we have all come to know. And as time has passed, if you noticed, SM sounds have developed, and when they do source outside productions, by the time the song is released, there are additions to the productions and lyrics that really give the song the unique sound that fits their artist.
Yeah,
so it's not
new sections, actually. Not just additions, just whole new sections.
Right.
Yeah.
Facelifts. Kind of like facelifts. A little Botox moments. And we're going to get started with mostly songs that kind of came out this year, not last year.
These last few years.
Last few years, there we go. Yes.
Yeah.
So, first song is Boa's Better and Awa's Like I Do.
Yes, so in November 2019, an understated self-love anthem called Like I Do by Awa, who is the past winner of X Factor Sweden, was released. And the song's production features dirty bass and a minimal flourish and a simple piano melody as well.
You said you love me, I said thank you, baby boy. I know you love me too. You know I do. You better love me like I do.
But a year later, a virgin penned by Yu Young-jin thought.
He's
amazing. As I mentioned, a year later, it would be released for Boa's 10th studio album, but with a few changes. So while the instrumental and everything kind of stayed the same, the pre-hook and chorus melodies were completely different.
Yeah.
Also, there are more swelling strings and a two-part bridge with just a funkier approach.
Can nobody tell you how you do it all? 선택은 너의 몫. 도전을 해봐 해볼까? With the thought from a paradigm.
There was a lot of controversy when this first came out because people thought that Boa had stolen it.
Yeah.
But Awa then came out and was like, no, don't worry, we've been working on this.
Right.
She asked for permission, and I've had my input in her version as well. So.
Right. Which is amazing because I remember hearing the song, I heard doo-doom, doo-doom, and I was sitting there like, why does this sound familiar? Because I'd heard Awa's version before.
Yeah.
Right? I thought it was so cool. It's so sleek. I'm like, yes! She's talking about having a bedtime. She's like, don't call me past 11 because I need to love myself. Appreciate my boundaries. I like that. And then I heard this and I'm like, why does it sound familiar? And then the chorus comes in, completely different melody, so it threw me off. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, these songs melodically throughout the verses, word for word, block for block. All right, but when the chorus comes in, it just adds a different feel. It's smooth. You hear a lot of like synth strings, and it's so fun to listen to. And what Young Jin did, what Boa probably had a hand in as well, is, oh my god, they took the song and kind of just like, oh my,
elevated it.
Yeah, that's the word. I couldn't find out the word. I just love it. I kind of
brought it to another level. Honestly.
And that bridge.
Yes,
it really shows that you don't have to stick with what's given to you. And typically, not even trying to be funny, but like, maybe not even funny, but not to sound like a know-it-all, but I've been talking to a lot of people who've worked with SM and and listening to what they have to say about how they write certain things. And a lot of the times when they produce something, everything has to be done. The harmonies, the melodies, etc.
Yeah.
Everything has to be done. Not saying that they didn't go back in and work on the song more, but it's so interesting that they heard this song and thought, we can build on this.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what makes SM kind of stand out from other, I mean, there's a whole bunch of groups that cover things and use samples, but what makes SM different is that they're not just covering it. They're not just saying, oh, we're going to feature the artist that kind of did. No, they're taking it and then like putting some extra good juice in it.
Yes, exactly. This isn't a hot summer situation where they just took the song and just covered it and you know, barely just added a few little things and kind of stuck it. They literally like gave it a facelift. Like creatively analyzed the song. What can they change to make it better? Yeah, and they did. Yeah, totally. Yeah. All right. So our next example, speaking of levels, is aespa's Next Level and Ashton Wyld with also Next Level. So this was written and produced by Sophie Curtis, Mario Marchetti, and Adam McInnes. So it was originally featured on the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw soundtrack, and Next Level is a braggadocious, edgy pop single with a simple, effective structure.
On the next level, they all trying to catch up to my next level, next level.
But when performed by aespa, the electronic coolness gets morphed into different genres throughout its duration, and unlike the original, the group's lyrics, which were again written by Yoo Young Jin, what are they gonna do when this guy retires, man?
Oh, right.
Yeah. But yeah, their version takes a literal approach to the next level.
Next level, 널 결국엔 내가 부셔. Next level, 코스모에 탈 때까지.
And the song is a continuation of the group's story from their debut single, Black Mamba, telling their journey into the fictional Kwangya universe. She loves Kwangya. And they're searching for a villain throughout it.
Yeah, Black Mamba. Oh, we're looking for Black Mamba.
Yeah.
This song, when we first heard it, I'm gonna say collectively, I don't think we liked it very much.
No.
You know, I'm also not a fan of Kwangya and Kwangya getting forced into the lyrics of everything, so I've already kind of beefing. I didn't like it. But I did like the dirty, again, it's another dirty electronic bass that dun 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 dun. It made me feel like really cool. Now, when Ashton was talking about syncing this song for the Hobbs Shaw soundtrack, she got lucky. So not lucky, but she was like, I didn't think they were going to actually deal with it. You know, it's just the lyrics aren't like amazing. But with her song, it's not about the lyrics, because lyrically it's not like, wow, changed my life, but it's the feel. Yeah. And this song definitely has that feel of coolness, of being that chick or that person, whatever. Yeah. So the way they took it, it still has the coolness to a certain extent. And then they add all these R&B and jazz breakdowns, which just is an ode back to our old SM artists, but it just felt very much lumped in there, as opposed to cleverly added, like with better.
It felt like it was part of another song, and they kind of threw it in there to try and make it different a little. I will say Ashton's version, while the bass line is really cool, it doesn't really go anywhere. No. Right? It's kind of the same song throughout, and with aespa, it's the complete opposite, where it just goes everywhere. So I don't actually love either version, to be honest. I will say the bass line is cool. Yeah. And it's memorable, and aespa performs it really well.
Yes, they do.
Dance routine. For those of you who are not watching us, we just did the dance routines, so you're missing out. But yeah, I mean, again, it's an example of how SM can just kind of take a song and give it some zhuzh. Yeah, right? Whether you like the zhuzh or not. Yeah. But it's just interesting to hear their choices, I guess. For sure, exactly. This is where those SM sounds may or may not be the best. Yeah. But they're not bad. It's just wrong song. Yep. Alright, so our last example for this section is Girls' Generation's Dancing Queen. So the original version is actually Duffy's Mercy, which was released in 2008.
You got me begging you for mercy. Why won't you release me? I said release me.
Many people have probably probably heard the original and
Yeah.
the original.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was a huge hit worldwide.
Yeah.
And it was even nominated for a Grammy Award.
Mhm.
And the song has been covered by a multitude of artists in various settings, like including, I think One Republic did it for Live Loud.
Oh.
And it was on the TV show Glee.
Yeah.
And that version charted too, you know? So it's a huge song. So it's just interesting that Girls' Generation would then decide to cover it only a few years later.
Yeah, that was weird. Not the best choice.
Yeah, because while Duffy's version had darker lyrics about having unwanted feelings towards someone, and there was a lot of soul
Mm-hmm.
in the way she was singing it,
Yeah.
Girls' Generations was much sweeter. And there was a bit more of a pop production. They still use a lot of the
bass lines and the
stuff I think that are in Duffy's version, but they definitely added more pop elements to it as well. And the way it's sung is very sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because they're singing about a dancing queen that they have a girl crush on. Like, she danced so well, she inspired me. Not great.
너의 그 이기적인 맵시 그 아찔한 센스 숨막힐 듯해.
What came out before then? Was it I Got a Boy?
Yeah.
Which is also a cover, or is a demo.
Again, it feels like they knew I Got a Boy was like gonna throw people off. So again, it felt like, let's take a song that we know people like the melody of, because it's already a hit, so that we have a safe song in conjunction with I Got a Boy. That's what this felt like.
Yes.
Because it felt very safe. Like even the way they're singing it, there's no soul there.
No.
And like the way Duffy sings it, she's poor. She is.
Wait, just hang on. We got in trouble for not saying soul. So, before y'all try to come for us, talking about, oh, soul, they don't have souls, that's messed up. We're not talking about poor, unfortunate souls, Ursula snatching their soul, they don't have any spirit. We're talking about, like, the timbre of your voice. Yeah, it was missing the passion, okay? You're right, it was lacking that.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think this is the best choice for them. I don't think this is the best choice.
Bizarre. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out, I was like, what?
Yeah, it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was them playing it safe.
Yeah, I mean, I think technically, Girls' Generation, like, sound good. Like, they're hitting the notes and stuff.
Right.
Like, yeah, versus like, yeah. There's a big difference. There's a big difference there.
Right, it's complete and utter difference. This wasn't my favorite thing by them, but you know, it did what it needed to do, and I'm a fan of saying this. I remember I was going to say now. I'm a fan of, you know, covers and samples and interpolations if they're done right. I mean, if you think about an amazing sample, If by Janet Jackson has 11 different samples from 11 different people, but you will never know.
No.
Because they done ate up that production. Now, typicality and familiarity are good. It helps people kind of create a connection to songs and help them feel like, okay, I might like this even before hearing anything. But when people are being uncreative, like in this, for the sake of this, and then even some Western artists have gotten a little bit lazy. They're not utilizing the sample in a way that I think would elevate their sound as much as it is to kind of receive some type of easy recognition.
Yeah.
It feels like not cheap, but it doesn't feel as rewarding as maybe better with better or even with some fans, aespa's aespa's next level. So it just needs a little extra oomph and not just, hey, we pluck this and put it in our song. But overall, I think SM has done a really good job with finding songs.
Yes.
Digging archival stuff from like Danish, Finnish, Europeans, and it's amazing. It's really impressive. I'm very curious to know why we haven't done that as American artists, but I guess
we have though. We actually have.
Oh, we have?
We have.
When?
Yeah.
Tell us. We'll talk about it in another episode. Let us know if you would like for us to talk about that on another episode.
Yeah.
Leave us in the comments.
Yeah, I will say it is interesting just looking at the evolution, because it is interesting because it tended to be kind of straight covers in the beginning. They had some production flourishes and stuff. For the most part, they kind of kept it the way it was.
Right.
To now being like, we're just going to take this as this just like first draft that we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 20th draft. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool just to kind of see how they've kind of used samples through time.
Right.
But anyway, that wraps up this episode.
Yeah.
Leave us some comments on your thoughts on the songs that we mentioned, the songs we didn't mention. Let us know if you have questions on samples and stuff. Both of us have a lot of professional experience dealing with them in every way possible. And I've definitely blocked a lot of songs from coming out. So yeah, you can hit us up on our social media accounts at CCTV Pops, and just let us know, and you know what else you'd like to see featured on our show. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. And for our listeners, please give us a rating and review on your preferred podcast platform. Don't forget that you can join us on Patreon.
That's right.
At patreon.com/CCTV Pops. So until next time, that's Shannon.
That's Chris.
And we are CCTV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.